My name's Abby Millward and I work at Jagex in Web Systems QA. I test all the modules and updates that go out onto the website and internally as well to make sure that they're bug-free before they go live. I worked for Jagex actually for just over a year doing my placement. When I was at university I took a year out and came and worked in the player support department. After I finished my degree I came back to the role, I was invited to come back, and then I was in player support again for about 3 months, and it was actually very recently, just a month ago, that I moved over into my web systems role, so I'm still a bit of a newbie at it. I remember when my mum was at university, actually, I was quite young, it must have been about 7 or 8, and I used to get taken along to university with her because she was a mature student, and I'd have to sit there on the Mac and sort of tap away and play my little puzzle game. It sort of went from there. I started spending more and more of my time sort of playing with the computer, and that's kind of where it all blossomed. I had a sort of a mini business running. It was actually, embarrassingly, it was doing hair extensions. I learned how to do that and did it for a few of my mates. When I look back on it now, it actually gave me a lot of fundamental understanding of like how businesses need to be run and how much there is really involved in putting all this stuff together so that it works. I was always kind of quite academic actually. When I was at secondary school, I was top of the class all the time. When I was finishing my A-levels, the two subjects that I was really enjoying the most was biology and IT. I think the biology thing wasn't something that I felt really had as much scope in the future for careers as having the IT sort of background, so that's why I really headed for the computer career. I think one of the biggest turning points for me in my career progression, as it were, was my placement year that I did when I was at university. When I started uni, I picked a course that I think, even now, I think probably wasn't what I really should have done. I would have enjoyed something different a lot more, but taking the gap year and coming to Jagex for a year really helped me decide where I want to go. I knew that I wanted to be in the gaming industry. I knew I wanted to be doing programming rather than web, so I took up advanced C++. It was pretty tough sort of settling into the new module. I mean, I think more than anything was the fact that I'd been dumped in with all these computing students, and of course they're all guys, and they all sort of thought, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing, but then by the end of the year I'd got marks higher than pretty much all the computing students, so I proved myself eventually. But it was hard, but putting the extra time in really made a lot of difference to my career, so I'm really pleased that I did it. It's always been sort of my mum and my dad and my sister that have influenced me the most and sort of always pushed me to go forward. I do largely take after my dad in that he's an engineer and I'm very sort of technical, and I like taking things apart and seeing how they work, so we have a lot of common ground there. My mum's a graphic designer as well, so that kind of really helped me with all the design aspects of when I was developing stuff at university. At the moment I'm actually renovating my house, so pretty much all of my spare time is spent painting and knocking down walls and all that sort of things. I play a few games as well. I wouldn't classify myself as a gamer, but I play a bit of RuneScape. Shamefully, don't tell anyone. I'm hoping to progress into something more technical, really. I'd like to go into development, sort of programming roles. That's what my background is. I love the feeling of knowing that I have somewhere to go with my job. Once you're in Jagex, you can move around almost freely into anything that you want to do, you know, so long as you've got the passion behind what you want to do and to be able to push yourself that much further, then you can really achieve anything, which is awesome.